But as promised, let's shift focus to India's coffee market then. USDA's local office in Mumbai has projected a 2.5% decline in India's coffee crop for the next coffee season, that is 25-26, due to weather-related yield issues. A dry spell in the month of January and February, followed by strong winds and excessive pre-monsoon rains in March and May, are likely to lead to the fall in output in the upcoming coffee season. Remember, coffee prices have more than doubled since the beginning of 2024. But what's the outlook going forward? To discuss this, we now have Mr. D.M. Purnesh, who is the President of the Specialty Coffee Association of India, now joining us. Mr. Purnesh, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And before we talk about the outlook, let's talk about the recent International Coffee Festival that you had organized in Bengaluru last week. Help us understand what is the sense that you're getting from coffee growers, and what is the sense in terms of consumption trends. How has demand been both in the domestic and the international market, and what are the key takeaways from that particular International Coffee Festival?
Thank you. In fact, India International Coffee Festival was the first one which we conducted just a week back. And it was a resounding success because we saw almost 10 to 12,000 people walking in, coffee consumers, coffee producers, the traders from coffee from all over country. And we see a huge growth trend in the domestic market for next many years to come. We are just in the beginning of this growth of coffee consumption in India. And also you asked me about the coffee production in India. Of course, there is going to be some effect due to the climate change, which as a coffee grower myself are trying to see how to overcome this. But overall, there is a good trend for coffee. The prices are highest in the last 13 years due to drought in Brazil and Vietnam, which I think may continue to help us with the good pricing, because to refill the gap of the stock would take some more time. India International Coffee Festival, this is the beginning, like I mentioned. It's going to be going on for next many years to come. We want to make India as a venue for world coffee producers and consumers to come and see what India gives, because we are the 5th largest coffee producers in the world. And there is a good future for Indian coffee, both domestic as well as in export.
And since you spoke about export demand, help us understand how has demand trend been for Indian coffee in the global market. I believe India contributes about 40% of the global coffee demand. So help us understand, especially because of growth concerns and tariff war impact that we are seeing, any kind of change in trend that we are seeing with respect to demand for Indian coffee in the global market?
The tariff war from the US is not going to affect us much, because very little of our Indian coffee goes to the US market. They get mostly from the southern part of America, like Brazil and Central America for them. But Indian coffee has always been on good demand. We always get a premium for our coffee in the world market. As usual, there is a domestic increase in demand for good and specialty coffee. We as growers are now gearing up to produce best quality coffee from India. And the demand we see is not going to come down at all. It's going to only go up as we keep producing good quality coffee from India.
Demand will continue to inch higher, but two-part question. One is with respect to prices. Despite the run-up that we have seen, any kind of impact that we have seen on demand? And two, where do you expect coffee prices headed from here on?
Looks like the current, I'll go by the last question I'll answer is the current prices are going to remain steady for some more time, like I mentioned, because there is a shortage of stock in the world coffee market. Coming to the demand for coffee or the prices in the long run may not stay this high all the time. So we have to be prepared to produce better quality coffee so that the world coffee demand increases for Indian coffee per se. Indian domestic market is growing. More and more investments are coming into cafes and roasters are putting in a lot of money into the domestic market. India International Coffee Festival got brought in all these people together during this last week event, and the idea is to see that there is more connectivity between the trade and the producers, so that the demand for Indian coffee keeps increasing, and the consumption in domestic market will keep going up for us through and through.
Right, so that's the outlook when it comes to demand and prices. Mr. Purnesh, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. So demand for
Thank you
Indian
very
coffee
much.
continues to remain strong, and because of the demand-supply dynamics play out, demand and supply is likely to inch higher going forward. But that's
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.